All right, to our presenter for today. So she's down from the upstate. Don't hold it against her. She likes the Midlands too, I'm told. So please welcome Yasante McDowell from Ed's All-Purpose Seasoning and Rub. Come on up. And you can use your down arrows to change your slides and make sure you stay right in front of the camera.
So good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Amen. Good morning again, everybody.
Good morning.
Amen. So glad to be here in Columbia this morning with you all. Just so glad for the opportunity to be able to stand with you and tell you a little bit about our story. It's All-Purpose Seasoning and Rub LLC and how it began. So I'm going to go back, give you a little history about us. Back in 1996, 1997, there was this young man and young lady who moved into their first apartment together. And that's where this young man and young lady just randomly would cook different meals and invite other people over, rather friends, mostly friends more than family, invite them over just for a meal. So in the year of 2001, August of 2001, 2 children later, this couple picked up their family and moved to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. That happened back in 2001. And in 2001, at that time, between the span of 2001 and 2005, this young family would take people in and just feed them, feed them, feed them. If you were ever hungry, they knew they could go to this home and be able to get them a meal. This family moved to Hattiesburg, Mississippi in a 1988 Mercury Topaz. Laughed at, picked at, when they drove off in that old car. How is that old car going to take you almost 600 miles one way for this move? But this young family picked up their family and moved to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. There in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, they had the opportunity to meet different people. The young man of the family began to cook on the grill. Like I said, just feed people. His wife would be there at different times in the kitchen, just feeding people. So you always had a meal. But this young man, he would always, when you go in the grocery store with him, he would never let you see what he was buying. I don't care who you were, you could not see what he was buying because he always had his own secret. So in the year of 2005, this family moved back to South Carolina, the great state of South Carolina, still feeding people and feeding people. And then what happened in moving forward to 2015, this young man was in the kitchen one day, just messing around with his different spices and herbs. And that's how we came up with Ed's All-Purpose Seasoning and Rub. So you could say we accidentally bumped into our purpose. So that's how it all began. And that young family are the McDowells, which you see us today. And that's Ed. Ed is the creator and the inventor of Ed's All-Purpose Seasoning and Rub. This family just has lived off of faith. Every single move has been by faith and being guided and directed into what to do next. So we ended up entrepreneurs, taking the passion that we had and what we loved to do, which was feeding people, and stumbled into what we have today, which is Ed's All-Purpose Seasoning and Rub. So how did we go from 0 stores to, we now are in over 14 stores and Amazon worldwide. Also, to tell you a little bit, it's also used in Guatemala, in a restaurant in Guatemala. Also in Africa. There's a family in Africa that uses Ed's All-Purpose as well. So we have customers all over this country, from the East Coast to the West Coast. We have customers all over from here to California and also in other countries. So what happened in September 2015, I took one bag because we started out doing little small sample bags about that size little trial sizes when Ed had perfected his craft. We started doing trial sizes, and we would pass them out to different people for them to try. And we started getting feedback about how good it was and how they never had anything that tastes like Ed's All Purpose. At that time, it was just a seasoning, so we thought. But we ended up hearing people using it as a rub as well. They would use it on their meats. They would use it just to tenderize their meat. They used it for all purposes. So we began to understand that we now have this seasoning, but it's also a rub all in one bottle. So now we have Ed's All Purpose seasoning and rub all in one bottle. So that's a little bit of our story. And September 2015, took a bag down to a local produce stand there in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And this man tasted, the owner of that stand tasted the seasoning and immediately put it on his shelves because of how good this seasoning and rub was. So we went from little small bags to 5-ounce bags, and then people still wanted more, so we moved on to doing 3-ounce bottles. And then now we're doing I'll just show you, now the supply and demand had got so large, we had to hire a co-packer to start packing this Ed's All Purpose seasoning and rub. And so now we have not only one on the store shelves, but now we have 3 different seasonings on store shelves. And they are located, we're in Orangeburg, South Carolina, in the Piggly Wiggly. They're in Orangeburg. You are in the Spartanburg, South Carolina area, you can go to, there are 3 different stores in Spartanburg: Garner's Natural Food Store, then you have the Baloo's Produce, and then you have the Tate Meat Works. They're in Spartanburg, South Carolina. In Union, South Carolina, we're located in Jimmy's Fresh Air Galaxy. And I'm going to go through a slide, and then I'm going to show you what Jimmy said about the seasoning. So our mission statement is to expand the business of Ed's All Purpose and bring an awareness to the community that there is a line of seasoning and rubs that replaces using the condiments of salt and pepper. Ed's All Purpose Seasoning and Rub LLC is a seasoning and rub created in one jar. It has very low sodium, so we're not a seasoning salt. It has very low sodium and enhances the flavor of your favorite foods. And some of the challenges in the business, we know that people deal with medical issues, whether high blood pressure or diabetes or whatever you may have. So it is intentional that every seasoning and rub that is created by it is low sodium. And then there are 0 calories as well. So we're qualified to run this business. Why do we run this business? Because we've been cooking and feeding others for 20 years. Ed's All Purpose was created and invented in our very own kitchen some years later, and we've been involved in demos within the city of Spartanburg and also TV shows. And Ed's All Purpose has people talking about how good it is on their meats, poultry, fish, and vegetables, along with chips and popcorn. There are testimonies, if you go to our website page, there are testimonies of how much children are enjoying the flavor of Ed's on their vegetables. So this is a quote from Jimmy's Fresh Air Galaxy, and this is what he had to say about Ed's All Purpose Seasoning. The owner of Jimmy's stated, and I do quote, "Pork loves salt, beef loves pepper, and chicken loves Ed's All Purpose." And that's how we came up with Ed's All Purpose Seasoning and Rub.
Let's give her a hand.